What's up, everyone? We're gonna do a DSR guide as a black mage. Let's get to the pull. All right, so start off with fire 3. Awesome. The boss is gonna cleave the entire party and the tank. It's gonna do a tank buster and it's cleave the whole party. So you just gotta step out at the end of the cast bar. Tank buster's going out, and then the boss is gonna become untargetable. There's going to be knights spawning around the room, and basically for this part you just gotta dodge. You gotta, for what I do is I just focus target the healer. Well, whichever healer I'm grouped with, I just focus target them, and then I run to wherever they run to. Makes life easier. You don't have to worry about anything. This part you have to dodge the earthquake, dodge the sword, cleave again, and then you go, if you have a marker, you go to the knights. There's 3 of them. And if you don't have a marker, you stack. Then you go in your tower. And then it's going to be a tank buster. Well, first you got to raid wide, so you got to bit this. And then there's going to be a tank buster. So that was strength. The heavens, or strength of the ward, rather. I think that one is kind of... it's kind of intense the first time you learn it, but there's honestly, that mechanic has a checkpoint, so the fact that you can just like spawn right there, it's not even worth wasting time explaining, because if you die on the mechanic, you could just, there's a checkpoint, so there's really no point in explaining it. Okay, anyways, this mechanic is really easy. Just focus target whichever healer that you're with, and or I'm sorry, focus target the same role as you. So if you're DPS, if you're melee, just focus target the other melee, and 9 out of 10 times just run the opposite direction. This one is kind of hard. You have to determine who's the prey markers. So for meteors, you gotta just kind of adjust. There's 2 people that get meteors, and you gotta check if you have towers in or out. This mechanic takes a long time to practice, but basically you just run out. And then there's a knockback. So after 4th meteor, you just press knockback and you're good. Alright, this mechanic is just a raid wide into a DPS burst. So you just mitigate this, and then you dodge the cleaves. But yeah, for that meteor mechanic, I recommend watching, or rather, what do I recommend? I recommend looking at the debuffs to determine who's going to be the person that gets marked, and I recommend starting in the middle. So you want to run toward the center of the arena before the meteor mechanic, and then and that way you'll be looking north, and you have set positions based on where you're going to go. And if you don't have a prey marker, you just go to that position. So you have cardinal spots, basically. And usually it's DPS out. Either supports get the markers or DPS get the markers, and the opposite role goes in or out. Alright, so this is Nidhogg. Looks like a limit cut marker, but actually it's just, you get the 2 tower. So I'm going to be getting marked, but 2s, I go out first. Nash is out, so this is out first, then in. Alright, cool. Go in and go out. Place the marker. And luckily there's no you don't have to face a certain direction. If you have arrows, you have to face a certain direction, otherwise it won't work. Alright, this is Ash and Lash out and in. There's a raid wide here, you gotta mitigate. Well, it's not a raid wide, it's more of a stack. So if you don't have 3, 1, or what's the other one? Yeah, if you don't have 3 or 1, you just stack with the group. Alright, now it's going to be enumeration. So this is just Dragon Lance first. Dodge the cleave. Wherever the boss is facing, just run away. Enumeration. I don't have to adjust. If you're melee or tank, obviously you do. There's a tank buster here, 2 tethers. They got to invuln or use kitchen sink those tethers. 2 minutes. Alright. Nidhogg is hard. That's going to take a lot of practice, but good thing there's a simulator for it, so you're good. Meteors is going to take a lot of practice too, but it's very early in the fight, whereas Nidhogg is later. So for Nidhogg, just use the simulator. For what is it? For Meteors, just keep pulling, just because Meteors is like a couple minutes in barely, so it's not even worth. It's a little bit harder to get to, but it's nothing compared to like P5 or some shit. So yeah, just keep pulling for Meteors. You'll figure out eventually. But when it comes to Nidhogg, definitely use a simulator. Meteors, you don't need a simulator because it's so early in the fight. You can just keep pulling, and you'll get there eventually. All right, this is eyes. You have to stack first to get the debuff, and now you have these tethers. If you have red in your DPS like me, you have to go to the middle to get a blue, so that you can soak these initial orbs here. And what's going to happen is the red ones are going to get dived on first, but it's random. So sometimes you have to like wait a couple rounds to get dived on. So 2 people are going to get dived on here, and they're going to go inside. So I'm going to swap tethers. So now I'm blue. And those 2 people got dived on. They're going out. And those 2 people got dived on. So we're going to swap again. And those 2 people got dived on. And you just kill the eyes, basically. Alright, the next mechanic is the same as P1. It's basically the purified heart or whatever, pure heart, whatever. And you just go to the sides of the boss, and it's a proximity cleave. So 2 people go in, they run away, they place their debuff. It's basically like a ground AoE. So I use Tanko B to save the guy. Save him! No, don't. I literally skipped this story, so I don't even know what this guy is doing. Anyways, 2 people go in. You mitigate this if you can. 2 people go in. And you just take turns. And you see how there's an AoE? See, I have a yellow debuff. And now it goes away. Boom. Alright, now you have to kill the spear. Alright, and it's basically a DPS check. So, kill the spear, and then it's P5. This takes a long time to practice to get to this point. But yeah, I think honestly as a DPS player, it's not that. It just takes time to practice. Alright. Incantation or incarnation, whatever. This is just going to be a couple auto attacks, and then it's going to go into Wrath of the Heavens. So this is P5 Wrath. Wrath is easy. Everyone just goes out to the edge of the map, and it's basically like Quick March, except you want to stay out. Just move in a little bit for the initial twister, and then stay out because there's going to be a cleave and there's going to be a bunch of baits. Alright, and the orange ones just go opposite. The tethers, they just cross. Make sure you're not spread a little bit. Go in. If you get the blue bait, you have to go in a certain spot. So just use a simulator for this mechanic, honestly. This one's kind of like a UCOB. So it's like you get the Hell's Liquid or whatever, the Heaven, whatever they call it. Those AoEs. That's a raid wide, so you just gotta mitigate that. This is 2 minutes, and then it becomes Death of the Heavens. Death of the Heavens is actually gonna be intense, and this is where usually the raid wipes. If obviously Nidhogg is like Meteors is like the first part where everyone wipes. Second part is Nidhogg. Third part is Death of the Heavens. This is a hard mechanic, so you want to you conga line here. And if you're a healer, or if you're at the very end of the conga line, I recommend if you just want a fast kill, you just go to the end, and that way you always go east or west. And you want to not be facing towards the eye, so otherwise you'll die. You'll get gazed. And I'm just looking around. Make sure the eye's not, I'm not facing the eye. Get knocked back. And there's 4 doom puddles, so you gotta like have the people with dooms go one way and the other people with dooms go the other way. There's meteors, so you know, have a caster or range, use the LB to kill like 3 or 4 meteors. There is a secret spot to use caster LB there, and it's if you have a summoner, it's a lot easier to determine where you're supposed to use it, because you can basically summoner has a pet, and so you can just move the pet to a certain pixel, and then you can target the pet with the LB, and that will kill like 4 or 5 meteors every single pull, and you'll end up saving like so many pulls, so much time, just because you killed an extra meteor. Anyways, this is P6. You don't want to kill him, otherwise it'll loop. There are crazy runs that do that on purpose, but anyways, this here, your 2 minutes, you have the 2 dragons here. What you want to do is spread everyone out. Everyone gets a fire or ice tether here. Luckily I'm black mage, so I don't have to adjust. But it basically, if you're melee, you just want to, or if you're the adjuster person, you just want to adjust, basically. Which means stand on the opposite color. Okay, so this is stacks. So whichever color tether, if it's purple, you hit Nidhogg. If it's white, you hit Race Velgar, and you want to keep them within 3% of each other. So it's basically like Hand of Pain if you ever see. So this is Hollowed Wings. So the party is going to go out. That means away from the head, and the tanks are gonna be close. And that all, whether the party goes out or in is dependent on Race Velgar. So you just have to look at the animation, and whether it's head is raised or head is down, you just have to check which one. Alright, so this is Wrath Flames. This one is also a huge mechanic here. So everyone's just going to stack. We're going to go to a corner, and we're going to sprint, use all your mitigation, run out. Boom. Boom. And the purple, I get purple, so I have to spread. This is wing, so that skills middle. Wing means middle, and the other one is sides. So here we go. Let's see. So you want to kill Race Velgar because of the white tether. The white tether means if you don't hit Race Velgar and you don't lower its HP, it's gonna go. It's gonna enrage. Okay, this is Hollowed Wings. So party goes middle to the right side. Tanks far, actually. One tank will be in the middle and the other tank will be far away. So that's another tank buster. Alright, and now we're going to do the final tether mechanic for this phase. Worm's Breath 2. Everyone has designated spots. You can just look up the static spots for that, and you just go there every single time, except for tanks. If you have to, obviously, tanks have a harder job because they have to adjust. Alright, this is Cauterize. So basically, you just go to the opposite side, stillness, stay still, and then you stack up for heals at the end. And then there's another mechanic where you have to pass the rot, which unfortunately I forgot to mention earlier. So that's what that looks like. There's a sequence of events. Usually they pass the rot in the middle. Tanks or whoever has it, they'll just call it out during comms. And this is just enraged, so you just gotta blast the ads down. But yeah, P6 is hard if you have never. I think it's only hard because of the Hand of Pain. If it wasn't for the Hand of Pain, like the 3% mechanic, it'd be really easy. But yeah, well, it's not exactly easy without it, but it's a lot easier without it. So yeah. All right, so that was P6. Now we're going into P7. So this P7 is really fun. It's basically 3 exaflares and then stacks, and then you have to run away from proximity AoEs, and then it just repeats all over again. So exaflares is You just have to go behind the boss. There's the tank part is kind of hard here because you have to like get the right debuff and stuff. Anyways, let me just go here. Okay, you see this little line here that's going down like this? See this line? This right here, that's the safe spot. So this is where you run to. Now notice there's a marker here. Don't get distracted. It seems like, oh yeah, let's run to the marker. That sounds like like you might think to yourself, oh, that's a good idea. Let's roll to the marker. It's like, no, that's not the truth. What you want to do is you're going to go right here, right where this vertical line hits the floor. That's the safe spot. That's the trick. And then right after you go there, you want to move over here or move out. Unless you want to do the uptime strat. Sorry, which I do not recommend. If you just want to clear. But obviously, if you want to parse, then you can look up Zeno's guide on that. Uptime strat is crazy, bro. Anyways, if you're sweaty, you can learn how to do the uptime strat. Okay, so I'll go in, I'll go out, boom, and then the tanks, and someone has to always go in for 2 autos. So you see that monk, he swaps with the samurai. So one, it's gonna hit 3 people, the autos, and then now is the stacks. So you have to have like a rotation of people, and then you have to stand in or out, whether it's ice or fire. So that was ice, so everyone had to go a little bit in, and now I'm getting hit with the auto, and then I'm going to go out. And then it is the bard. So fizz range goes in, Giga Flare's edge, fire. Fire means stay out. And we're going to go left here, I believe. Yes, okay. You just go away, mitigate this, and then there's going to be autos, I believe, or it's just going to go straight into exit flares again. Yeah, autos. So the white mage is taking it, and then the other healer is taking the other auto. All right, exit flares again. It's ice, so it's in, and then you go to the dot, and you go out. Easy, bro. Autos. Oxhorn's edge. This is fire. So you want to be out, and then you're going to take a step in to be in the healing range. So everyone's just going to get in stacks. I prefer 3-2-2 stacks or 3-3-2 stacks, just for consistency. But if you're sweaty, then you can have 6-1-1 if you're sweaty. But I don't recommend that because it's harder. My life is easier because I can just focus target someone who's already in the stack and knows what they're doing. So I just run toward that person, and that way I don't have to worry about doing anything. The more brain dead you can make mechanics, the better. But I guess it kind of defeats the whole purpose of learning how to do an ultimate, I guess, because you're just skipping mechanics by using other people as basically cheat sheets. Anyways, this is exit flare again. You go to the dot right next to the marker right there. You run out. Cool. Auto attacks. The healer died. Let's see if we adjust. Oh, we got lucky. Okay, we didn't need to adjust. Awesome. This is this is stacks. Okay. There's gonna be an enrage where he hits one, and then it's like the same animation as this, but it's just gonna be one or two people dying at a time, and then you have to run away, or you have to see. 3 people are gonna die here. This is enrage. Boom. All right, and that's it. So yeah, guys, good DSR guy. Let's go. W in the chat, bro. Debbie.